timeline discrepancy detected nearby. This console is 95% non-functional. Remaining 5% functionality stems from display reading console non-functional. Cause of shortout is most likely related to purple residue splattered all across the keyboard. Substance contains trace amounts of purple berries, fruit flavors, and artificial sweeteners number 35, number 49, number 240, number 322, number 314, and many, many, many others.
You know you're liable to get sick doing that.
You're back, I see. Glad Slug hasn't managed to scare you off.
I think it's more of a wonder that nothing in these law-forsaken orchards has managed to kill them.
How's the investigation going? You got a complete report for me yet? Well, at the moment, so I suppose you...
Really now. I consider myself more of a watch canid. Here to...
There's something else you need to know? The tower processing console is completely fried. Whoever took it out must have used some kind of explosive. The mechanicals were hacked. They're pretty much running amok. If you could keep from destroying too many, I'd be obliged. Would save us a lot. That said, you might want to be careful. Those things are built to take on waspkitos, and waspkitos are generally tougher to kill than people. Just something to keep in mind. Got a lot of dead saplings that'll cost us a lot of bits. I've got a feeling someone poisoned them somehow. You're back, I see. Glad...
I think it's more of a wonder that nothing in these law-forsaken
How's the investigation going? You got a All right, let's hear the details. A drink? I ain't ever heard of no saboteur dumping drinks all over equipment to destroy it. I hate to say it, but that sounds more like worker carelessness.
How many times do I have to tell you this, old man? Slug isn't behind your problems. Slug wouldn't even need to cause you problems. Your own workers do enough.
I see you left a few of them intact even. Smashed more than I'd like, but I guess I'm glad you didn't obliterate them all.
Never did like leaving a job half-finished myself. But that's me.
So what were the fine details of the sabotage anyhow? Were Slug's lackeys trying to get the mechanicals to kill all our waspitos? Of course. And what better way to do that than by targeting our pollinizers? It'd be a hell of a pain to kill manually. But if you set the mechanicals to do it...
In your delusional fantasy, the waspitos wouldn't be out until next pollinization cycle. Wouldn't someone notice the rampant mechanicals beforehand?
That seems like a question you should be asking yourself. I mean, a slug agent could have initiated hive control with the intent to initiate a pollinization cycle and stop it just as quickly. Maybe they were just gonna do it later.
Stop wasting everyone's time, Hathaway. What you're proposing is infinitely less likely than an idiot maneuver by one of your incompetent workers. I won't hear any further slander.
Ha! Knew Slug was behind the damn sabotage.
Please. We're subtle, but that's too subtle. If we wanted to destroy your saplings, you'd have known them by the blackened remnants of their stems, not some half-assed poisoning. Let's go through this one final time so even you can't confuse it, Hathaway. Slug didn't do a damn thing to your orchards. You're chasing ghosts.
Talk about ghosts all you like, but someone was screwing with my orchards. If it wasn't Slug, then who the hell was it? You're a professional inspector, and all you've got to say is no idea? Laws. Well, what's done is done, I guess. Right now, we of the orchards have to settle things with Slug. I reckon that you're about as impartial a third party as we're gonna get. Can you mediate?
Ah, what the hell. The orchardist seems to get off on complicating what should be a simple deal, but at this point, I just want to be paid and go. The pollen in the air is agitating.
Never like paying bits if I ain't gotta, but you're right. If we get production finished now, we'll be able to pay later. Thoughts, Slug Boy?
I think that's the first interesting suggestion I've heard since our back and forth began. Slug can wait for an increase in costs. I hope we won't have this conversation again.
Did you hear?
Hi again. It's like I just saw you. Pool's still closed, unfortunately. All sounds right by me. It'll be nice to actually have guests to guard. Sinuses that work. All right. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, thanks a million, Inspector. The smell cleared right up. Well, in a couple hours, the guests might even be back. Then I actually gotta start doing my job. Of course, we're not gonna get a follow-up shipment for the water anytime soon, so they'll have to content themselves on the deck. I got a little something for making my job that much less miserable. It's the key to our storeroom. If my boss asks, you never met me. I guess I can spare a few bits, and, here, this pack of smokes. Sorry, they don't really load me up with the goods. I gotta get back to it if you don't mind, Inspector.
Inspector, you're early. Awfully sorry about this, but I'm afraid I can't let you into the spaceport at the moment. We're shipping out some contraband goods, and I can't risk an inspector as an eyewitness. You'll have to come back later. Ah, but you have no proof. All you know is I claim Slug is involved in contraband. And I certainly wouldn't trust my word, would you? You might inspect Purpleberry Orchards while Slug finishes up. We should have the spaceport ready for you by the time you're done. Back again, Inspector. Still early, I'm afraid. Did you look around Purpleberry Orchards? Perhaps I was unclear before. Only that I'm no inspector, and as such would hate to bias your investigation with my amateur thoughts.
My inordinately... Oh, you're the one who visited me. Hello again. Thanks so much for brightening my day. What authorized floor can I bring you to? Oh, so sorry, but you're not actually authorized to visit that floor. Next up, the finest seat in the house.
Hey, I was gonna stop him, but I figured he was room service. Then he started going through Helen's things, and I figured, maybe you want a word with him.
gibbering law. Where'd you come from? Sorry, let me just get back in character. Whoa, 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 it's not what it looks like. Easy, friend. No need to get violent. There are as many reasons to spare my life as there are flavors in Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. I'll give you 2 reasons. First, I am a valuable asset to the Rizzo's Rangers Tossball Enterprise. And secondly, I'm just here doing a job for a VIP. Mascot's honor. I am acting on behalf of Mr. Black Hole Birdie, the Holmeister, the Hack Attack. I don't have a lot of time, but Mr. Birdie sent me to retrieve a message, something he recorded for Ms. Bellamy while he was off his kilter. Clothes, mostly. Couple tops, couple pants, couple pairs of socks. Didn't find a letter, and I'm trying real hard to stay positive about that. Will you meet me later, over at the pilot house? I swear, from the bottom of my employment contract, I will tell you everything I know about Ms. Bellamy's demise. What? But I can't? Please don't hurt me. I'm sorry. I can't. Not here. I'm sorry. The Pilot House complex. Meet me there, and I'll tell you everything, I swear.
I understand there was an incident at the orchards. The pollination cycle began without my authorization. Fortunately, you managed to save most of the hive. The wasp-mosquitoes are essential to the orchards, you see. Losing them would have cost us months of production. The orchards can be a dangerous place, but my workers understand the hazards. Something about this incident troubles me. The circumstances are suspicious. But let's concentrate on the matter at hand. Have you discovered anything? You have my attention. That's deeply upsetting. Dr. Leora Blossom was an extraordinary scientist and a friend. We have a murderer on the loose, Inspector, as if the death of Halcyon Helen wasn't enough of a blow to our facility. Interesting. The Rizzo's family is a small family, Inspector. Most of us recognize one another. Still, any information is good information. It troubles me to believe Leora could have been murdered by one of our own. If there's anything else you'd like to share, you have my attention. Insisted? That's interesting. We'd scheduled a tour of the lab for Helen. Purely a public relations event to be held sometime in the indeterminate future. Then again, Helen and I were not well acquainted. I can't speak to her intentions. Little of consequence. We'd tour the grounds, pause at some locations appropriate for a portrait, let her shake hands with our scientists. Public relations. A picnic? I don't recall approving a private social gathering at the orchards. I'll have to make a note of this information. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Was there anything else? That's troubling, to say the least. Any transfer of proprietary data is strictly prohibited without my permission. A clever deduction, Inspector. That gives us a little information to work with. Yes, I share your suspicions. Someone didn't want you following their trail. This feels like more than corporate espionage. Someone's playing with us, Inspector. And I have never in my life enjoyed games. Did you discover anything else? This incident at the orchards must be connected to Helen's murder somehow. I don't know how, but I feel it in my marrow. My apologies, Inspector. This case is under your jurisdiction, not mine. I leave it in your hands. When you're ready, I suggest a word with the hotel coroner. She should have finished her autopsy by now.
Aha! Always so nice to hear you, Inspector. I'll get you to your floor on the double.
Stealing it.
What the? I was going to wash my hands, I swear. Mr. Kincannon really knows how to run a Bertie Holcomb is likely beside himself in grief.
Inspector, not a moment too soon. I've just finished my autopsy report. Ruth Bellamy was killed by plasma damage to the upper vertebrae, the occipital bone, and the cerebellum. If it's any consolation, her death was instantaneous and painless. I've also discovered a poisonous compound in Miss Bellamy's stomach lining ingested during her last meal. Toxic, but not enough to kill her. Spencer Woolrich complained of a stomach ailment around the same time period. I assumed he was being, Spencer. But now I'm not so sure. The thought occurred to me. I tested this hypothesis by vacating the contents of my stomach and testing for the presence of the same toxin. Slightly elevated levels of mercury and an alarming amount of blue food coloring. But other than that, no. I'm certain it wasn't, as you put it, just the hotel food. curious. I do believe you're right. I wonder if this has something to do with the autopsy process. She was Halcyon Helen up until the moment I brought her to the operating table. But as soon as I cut her open, I stopped thinking of her as Halcyon Helen. It's almost as if she stopped being an icon and became a human being. I had a feeling you'd understand. I do keep logs of every patient I treat. Despite appearances, I'm not merely a coroner. I'm also the Grand Colonial's only, and therefore greatest, doctor. I'm very pleased with my work. Cedric Kincannon is an outstanding employer. What I'm about to tell you, do me a favor and keep this between us. That's what I like to hear. I'd much rather work for Slug than Rizzo's. Rizzo's makes a great show about the happiness of its workers, but I think it's all rather artificial. I'm paid well. I work hard. I'm given respect and a reasonable degree of freedom. Cedric Kincannon runs a tight ship. Most of us enjoy working for Slug. Will there be anything else?
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. An industrial-grade laxative has been added to the liquor in these bottles.
Me, oh my! How exciting to see you again! This truly has been a day to end all days. I could die happy. Anything you'd like to discuss?
The Grand Colonial Front Desk warmly welcomes you, Inspector. It's a pleasure to see you again. How may I be of assistance to you, Inspector? I'd love to, Inspector, but I don't really have the authority. Moreover, the guests were promised exclusivity. If I let you up there, I'll never hear the end of it. That's a good point. If they give me guff, I can just tell them that they're obstructing justice. That has a nice ring to it. Let me just set you up with VIP guest floor access. Done. You can now come and go as you please.
Hey, take it easy with that thing. Finally checked in, I see. I hope you're fond of the penthouse. It's pretty much the best seat in the whole hotel. You shouldn't want for any amenity you might find elsewhere. Should act as a better headquarters for the investigation than any space dust-covered ship. That and you ain't got room service on a ship. You ever need anything, come find me. Even if you don't, you can still swing by. I'm always happy to chat. Oh, of course. That is, maybe not on a personal level, but I'm one of her biggest fans. Even started an association of like-minded individuals. I'd lament not having anything to meet about anymore, but the newer tribe just ain't done it for us. Still, there goes my hopes of a Terran Monarch reunion episode. Of course! Budgets went up, but the writing quality chewed straight through the floorboards and free fell into Halcyon's son. I'm supposed to believe Helen would let the chief of the savages go free? Just since he was revealed to be her half-cousin? He's a dissident! You kill him! I, like most fans, reckon this series should go back to its roots. Another 200 episodes of the Origins plotline is what we really want. Now, what can I lend a hand with? Please do.
Aha! Always so nice to hear you, Inspector. I'll get you to your floor on the double. If you see Black Hole Birdie, be sure to get an autograph for me. Just joking. I've already got one.
Real slick. let you do that so fast.
Zeke Hannigan, Rizzo's Rangers 16th back. Pleased to meet you. What can I do for you? Oh, you must be that inspector people have been talking about. It's a damn shame about Miss Helen. She was always real good to me and the rest of the Rangers. Birdie's taking it pretty hard. Miss Helen was the love of his life. So, what did you want to know? Oh, Birdie was mad about Helen. He was certifiable. The big galoot loved Helen about as much as he loved the game. Trouble is, Birdie was not blessed with an abundance of temper. Helen kept Birdie steady. If he lost his temper around her, it'd be because something broke between the two of them. I'm ashamed to admit it, but me and a couple of the other Rangers spent the night in Constable Keen's cells down at the spaceport. We didn't do anything serious, just a bit of pranks and vandalism. It's what usually happens when we all get to drinking. Guess Constable Keen saw things a bit differently and had us hauled off. No, we lost him somewhere along the way. Or maybe he managed to get away? I can't rightly remember. But he was definitely not sharing a cell with us. That much I know. What? Law, no. Birdie's got a fierce temper, but there's no way he'd ever have laid a finger on Miss Helen. Miss Helen was outspoken. She made her share of enemies on account of her expressing herself. Just between you and me, I heard rumors the Prophet never much cared for Helen's brand of blunt honesty. What can I do for you?
Is that a woolly cow? Why is there a woolly cow in the hotel? Also, why do I smell
Multiple discrepancies detected. First discrepancy. A woolly cow is present in this hotel room. Woolly cows are an import species for the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve and are incapable of affording upper-class accommodations. Second discrepancy. This woolly cow is dangerously inebriated with Rizzo Spectrum vodka. Alcohol sanguinization ratio exceeds recommended maximum. An accurate observation, Inspector. This woolly cow is suffering from symptoms consistent with a hangover. A brief survey of this area reveals that the most recent occupants were athletes belonging to the Rizzo's Rangers Tossball Club. A brief survey of localized property damage, divided by the area of this room, yields the following estimate. This unit was likely occupied by every member of the Rizzo's Rangers. -1.
Okay.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby.
Nice.
Timeline discrepancy detected nearby. The charred fragments of a letter lies at the bottom of this wastebasket. Your observation is correct and quite astute.
Ooh, maybe they had to put a body in storage. That would be fun.
Someone burned this letter shortly after Halcyon Helen's death. Timeline description. A single footprint. Size 10. Tossball cleat sized. The soil in this residue contains a very high concentration of oxygen. Well done, Inspector. The weather monitoring station at the pilot house substitutes for a terraformer. The soil in his footprint likely came from there. Timeline discrepancy detected. This bottle, recently discarded, contains residue from foreign substances. Chemical analysis complete. This unit has detected the following substances: oil, terrorray, blood, terrorray, unidentifiable biological fluids, terrorray. Yes, Inspector. Logical analysis indicates These substances were not present in the bottle's original contents. These substances cause extreme gastrointestinal distress in humans. Large doses can be fatal. This bottle contained Rizzo's Spectrum vodka. The presence of Terraray biological fluids may have significantly improved its flavor.
About time you arrived. I see you haven't dressed the way I asked you to, but I suppose that was expecting too much of a non-industry lout. Expect a complaint to management. Now, unless you'd like to waste more of my time, I suggest we begin rehearsing. Ready? You've fallen right into my trap, Captain. Oh, don't bother to fight back. You cannot hope to stop me from installing philosophism as the system's reigning ideology. How does the scenery taste? Good, I trust? Wait a moment. You're not wearing a bellhop's ID, which must mean you're not Owen's understudy. That man can't even be relied upon to find his own replacement. No, this is curious indeed. Who are you? And how did you get in here? And yet you found your way to my humble hotel room. Why do I feel there's more of a reason for you to be here than you let on? I think I know, you cheeky little sprat. Now, what shall I sign first? Your weapon? Your wallet? Or perhaps something a little more personal? Undergarment signatures have been popular of late, or so I've heard. Do you mean to say you're not a fan? Well, then how did you get in here? The only staffer cleared for guest room entry is the inspector for Bellamy's murder. Oh. Oh! Hello. Terribly sorry, Inspector. I didn't realize it was you. Understand that I am beyond willing to comply with your search for the fiend that did Bellamy in. You know, now that I look at you, you're the perfect reflection of me, back when I starred in the Marauder's Bane, the absolute picture of justice. Ask me anything at all. I might even give you a straight answer. Indeed. The agonizing bowel pain was most undignifying. While I've certainly had no shortage of inadequate hotel meals, this was most explicitly pronounced. I suspect poison. And who would be most likely to poison me but Chef Anwar? Oh, we've clashed almost non-stop about his slop preparation. He must have tainted my meal in retaliation. None that I can think of. I treat all hotel staff equally, and with the minimum level of respect that they deserve. Is that a jibe? Could you imagine the tabloid headlines? Spencer Woolrich, Aetherwave star, spotted in gastronomic distress. Oh, unseemly hardly describes the half of it. How alarming! Whoever targeted her was certainly targeting me. I can only thank my ironclad constitution that I'm standing here before you. Oh, that's very good to know. Perhaps the poisoner simply meant to incapacitate us both, disrupt the product launch. I couldn't say, Inspector. I'm merely an actor. Very well, then. Oh, have you now? Please do go on. Don't leave me in suspense. That, yes. Yes, I distinctly recall ordering an alcoholic beverage with my meal. This hotel is certainly bringing a new meaning to the phrase rotgut. Management shall receive the complaint to end all complaints. I'm quite used to being breathlessly watched.
I can take a hint.
Aha! Always so nice to hear you, Inspector. I'll get you to your floor on the double. To the lobby we go.
Yes? Are you here for the double rack of smoked sprat? Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but you'll have to wait. Oh, don't give me that look. Let me see if I can pencil you in for later. Actually, what am I saying? I can't do that. I'm booked for the next month. You'll have to make a reservation. You're the inspector? Here? Why? I mean, you may ask me whatever you want. I have nothing to hide. Of course I did. I would never allow anyone else to touch the meals of so important a guest. Oh my law, this is the end, isn't it? My mother always warned me that the culinary world was too dangerous, but I didn't heed her warnings. Okay, I wasn't the one who did it, but I might have been mistaken when I said I was constantly watching Helen's food. Spencer Woolrich and Bellhop Owens were underfoot in the kitchen as I was preparing Helen's meal. Either one of them could have tampered with the food when I was fetching ingredients. Well, it's a breach of professionalism, of course. Why else would I worry about it? Well, I suppose that's as good a point as any I've heard. I may have taken some time to engage in a teensy bit of recreational drinking, and consequently, I may have been somewhat less than coherent after preparing Helen's meal. Mr. Woolrich often finds the hotel's meals wanting. He seems to enjoy complaining in person. While I could appreciate someone with a discerning palate for once, I believe that Mr. Woolrich simply enjoys the attention he gets from us. Though don't tell him I said as much. If you wish to speak with him, Mr. Woolrich can most likely be found in his suite on the VIP guest floor. He's usually there if he's not poking around here. Yes, but not specifically. Owens often procures exotic ingredients from the creatures at the Wilderness Exploitation Reserve. Our guests can be rather particular. Let's not talk about the incident with the Raptidon pheromone glands. It's always hard to say when Owens might be back. If I were you, I'd make a trek to the reserve myself. Otherwise, who knows how long you'll have to wait. I understand your reluctance, but... Oh, I just remembered. The kitchen security camera. It'll prove I'm telling the truth about everything. Constable Keene has access to the security footage in her office at the spaceport. If you visit her, you can figure out what truly happened with Helen's meal. Thank you for your understanding, Inspector. I'm sure you'll find the true culprit before long.